Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If I could have your attention, I need to make an announcement. I'm Gene Culpepper. I direct tonight's play. The circumstances surrounding our production are a little unusual. I was very flattered when Billy St. John, who wrote Murders in the Air, as you probably noticed in your program, AIR is spelled HEIR, Murders in the Air. Get it? Yes. Well, as I was saying, I was flattered when Mr. St. John contacted me and asked me to direct his play's premiere production. Actually, it was a work in progress, and he made changes and rewrites throughout the rehearsal period. While it was very exciting to be a part of creating a brand new work, to tell the truth, it put quite a strain on me, the playwright and the cast.
You got that right.
Hush, Jonathan. Actors should be on scene and unheard until the curtain opens. Sorry about that. The fact is, the cast and I are feeling a little nervous about the show. Because, well, it's not quite finished. Oh, don't worry, we're going to go on. The show must go on, as somebody once said. I don't know who said it, but I'd love to get my hands around his neck. Anyway, as I was saying, the play isn't quite finished. You see, it's a murder mystery, and most of the characters have great motives to kill. Well, you'll see who. The thing is, Mr. St. John couldn't make up his mind which character should be the killer. In fact, he wrote several different endings in which the various suspects were revealed to be the murderer. We performed them all for him, and he still couldn't decide. As he got closer and closer to open night, the tension in the air, that's AIR, grew so thick you can cut it with a knife. It got so bad that Mr. St. John had what I feel sure will prove to be a temporary breakdown. The reason he's not here with us tonight is because he is presently under heavy sedation in a very nice place surrounded by soft walls with lots of padding. Some people have all the luck. The cast and crew and I are here though, and we are determined to provide an entertaining show for you, even if it kills us. That's just a figure of speech, of course. This brings me to the main point of my being up here. To announce that you're going to have to help us. If you look in your programs, you'll see we've inserted a loose slip of paper, a ballot of sorts. As you watch the first act, you'll discover which characters have a motive to murder someone, a person who will indeed be dead by the time the act ends. During intermission, we need you to check on your ballot which character you think is most likely to be the killer. Give your ballot to one of the ushers before you take a break for intermission. We'll tally them quickly, and for the second act, the cast will perform the scene Mr. St. John wrote that has the character the majority of you choose as the murderer. At least we hope that's what will happen. It got very confusing during rehearsals.
It's a wonder we didn't kill the playwright.
Quiet. Look, we might as well I get started. I saved myself a seat there on the front row where I could follow the script and maybe help out if things get a little shaky, which they won't, but just in case. Are you ready, Cass?
As ready as we're going to be.
Let's do it. Places. Lights.
Nancy, please. You know Mr. Starkweather is resting in his bedroom, just through the doorway. You mustn't startle him.
I'm sorry, Miss Withers, but you startled me.
My apologies, but I dare say a slight scare will do you no harm. However, a sudden shock to a man in his 90s, and Mr. Starkweather's medical condition could prove fatal. Remember that, girl.
Yes, ma'am. I guess this terrible storm has made me a little edgy.
Yes, it's a temptatious evening. I presume all of the guests have been shown to their rooms?
Yes, Miss Withers. Well, all but Mr. Starkweather's grandson, Mr. Simon III. It's a long drive from his college, and the storm, you know.
I hope we can start without him. It is past Mr. Starkweather's bedtime, and he must have his sleep.
There's one more. I assure you, Miss Withers, the room is spotlessly clean.
I certainly hope so. Mr. Starkweather's condition makes the merest mote of dust potentially lethal.
I served as Mr. Starkweather's housekeeper for many years before you came here, Miss Withers. I don't need you to tell me how to do my job. You brought the coffee?
It's right here on the table, Mrs. Trent.
Then go back to the kitchen and help me over with the rest of the refreshments.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Starkweather gave specific instructions that he wishes to have everyone present in the drawing room at 8 o'clock sharp. I'll ask Bensonhurst to fetch the guests from their rooms.
Mr. Starkweather will be ready. I'm coming, Mr. Starkweather.
I done got all the cars parked in the garage, like you told me.
As I told you. Oh, why waste my breath? You're dripping water all over the foyer. Why did you enter through the front door, Rufus? I've told you a million times that servants never enter through the front door.
I reckon I forgot, Mr. Bensonhurst. Besides, it's raining out there.
I am aware of that, and now looks as if it's been raining in here as well, thanks to you.
You're welcome.
Go back out the way you came and maneuver yourself around to the back door. Do you think you can manage that?
Well, I don't know, but I suppose I'm gonna find out.
When the final guest, young Mr. Simon, arrives, I'll summon you so you can park his car for him.
Oh, good. While I'm waiting, I'll sit by the stove and see if and I can grow gills.
Don't be impertinent.
How can I be? If and I don't know what that means.
Just do as you're told. Go to the kitchen and wait there until I call for you. Not that way. If you're not already, then I told you to go around to the back door.
Nope, but I was hoping you had.
That man is an idiot.
I heard that.
Where do you want me to put this one, Minerva?
On the coffee table. Careful with it.
Yes, ma'am. I think everything is ready.
You think wrong. Place the cups and the sauces, so all we'll have to do is pour the coffee.
Yes, Minerva.
The others are coming down. Miss Van Zandt informed me that Mr. Starkweather wishes the staff to be present as well.
He wants the servants here?
Precisely. Even Rufus. Had I been informed of that fact sooner, would have ordered him to take a bath. He's out in the rain, parking cars, so perhaps that will help.
If you ask me, Noah's flood wouldn't help.
Be that as it may, I shall summon him and Mrs. Trent.
Why would Mr. Starkweather want the servants to be here?
I'll pull out my crystal ball and let you know. Do you remember what I told you when you came to work here?
Yes, ma'am. Do as you're told and don't ask questions.
Exactly. Stick to that.
I will, Minerva.
Oh dear, I never know what to wear on such special occasions. I suppose Uncle Simon's inviting us here is a special occasion, isn't it, Jordan?
I suppose so. When you consider that most of the time he treats us like lepers.
You think Simon treats us like jungle cats?
Not leopards, Mother. Lepers. Oh, forget it. And don't worry, Mother, you look fine.
Thank you, son.
I'll tell you one thing. If we should ever inherit this mausoleum, the first thing we'll do is call up the Adams family and let them know it's on the market.
Counting chickens, are we?
Minerva! We didn't see you there and your attractive young helper there.
Nancy is a nice girl, and I need for her to stay that way.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
I doubt that.
I don't understand.
I believe that, Miss Fiona. Why don't you have a seat and I'll bring you a cup of coffee?
Coffee? That sounds nice. It is a little damp in here.
That's because it's a lot damp out there. How do you take your coffee?
Mother prefers hers black. I like mine sweet. I'll flavor it myself.
Oh, whatever. Oh, what a lonely hors d'oeuvres. These are delicious.
Glad you like them.
You're looking very pretty tonight, Nancy.
Thank you, sir.
Sir? That makes you feel as old as great Uncle Simon. Call me Jordan.
She'll call you Mr. Starkweather, the way a proper maid should. If anyone calls you another name, it'll be me, and you don't want to know which one I'm thinking.
Minerva, you never change.
Neither do you. More's the pity. Now take a seat next to your mother.
Yes, Drill Sergeant.
My goodness, Kathy. I don't see how y'all can stand living out here in the boonies, away from fine restaurants and movies and shopping centers. Why, I get so depressed, I just sit down and weep.
It's not that bad, Paula. I stay here during the week and go to my apartment in town most weekends.
I am so relieved to hear that.
I worked for a large corporation before Mr. Starkweather had hired me to be his personal secretary, and believe me, this position is much nicer.
Look what we have here. 2 rays of sunshine to dispel the gloom. You look beautiful, ladies.
I swear, Cousin Jordan, you are a rogue and a charmer.
I do my best. Won't you join us?
Have a seat over there. You'll be safer. We'll bring you some coffee.
Thank you, Minerva. I take mine black.
Load mine down with lots of cream and sugar. I must admit, I have an enormous sweet tooth.
Maybe that's what causes that corn syrup accent.
And how are you this evening, Cousin Fiona?
What? Oh, I'm very well. Thank you, Paula.
That's just peachy. I swear, I don't know why we don't see more of one another. It seems like the only time we get together is for somebody's funeral.
Well, aren't all funerals for somebody?
Shame on you. Don't be morbid, Cousin Jordan. I'm glad this weekend is an exception to the rule. For once, no one is dead.
So far, anyway.
Oh,
Oh, that's okay, hon. You didn't spill any.
What do you mean by that remark, Jordan?
Oh, nothing. It's just that when you called to tell us that Great Uncle Simon wanted Mother and me to come to the Starkleather Mansion for the weekend, at first I assumed you were going to say that he had passed on.
You wish.
I started to pack my new black dress.
It was a natural assumption. I mean, he's up in years and in bad health. I was relieved to find out the old boy is still with us, of course.
Ha!
Kathy, darling, I bet you know why Great Uncle Simon desired our presence this frightful evening. Come on, tell.
Miss Van Zandt, we'll go into the particulars, but I believe Mr. Starkleather wishes to discuss his will.
Really?
I'd appreciate it if you didn't drool on the orders.
You misjudged me, Minerva. I was surprised, that's all.
Where's Cousin Simon? Shouldn't he be here too?
When I contacted him last week, he said he couldn't make it. Apparently, he's going to be late. If he's tried to call here tonight, he couldn't get through. The phone lines are down.
Well, if we're going to talk about the will, he should be here. After all, he is Great Uncle Simon's only grandchild.
Yeah, you'll probably get everything.
Excuse me a minute. I hate to interrupt. You're doing great, guys. You really are. I suggested to Mr. St. John that these family relationships might be a bit confusing. He agreed and was going to write a scene that explained everything. He was working on it when he snapped like a rubber band. So I'll just tell you. I think the family tree might be in your program too. Here's the way it works. Simon Starkweather, the old billionaire whom you'll meet shortly, married late in life and produced one son, Simon Jr. Simon Jr. in turn married and produced one heir, Simon III, the college student who's late for the gathering. The original Mrs. Starkweather, Simon II, and his wife are now deceased. Old Simon's eldest brother, Paul, had a daughter, Bella, who married Lucian Thompson, an Atlanta businessman, and they produced a daughter, Paula Harris. Paul, his wife, Bella, and Lucian are now deceased. Old Simon's younger brother, John, married and produced Ezra, who married Fiona here, and they had Jordan. This is Jordan. But you know that already. Anyway, John, his wife, and Ezra are now deceased. I realize it's a lot of dead people, but if they had been included in the play too, the stage will look like a marching band had wandered in the living room. Believe me, it was hard enough moving everyone about the stage as it was. At any rate, Old Simon is Fiona's uncle by marriage and is Jordan and Paula's great uncle. That makes Jordan, Paula, and young Simon cousins. Second or third cousins, I guess. I don't really understand how that works. I hope that clears things up for you. Sorry for the interruption. Carry on.
We don't have the foggiest notion where we are.
I'm not even sure who I am anymore.
Sorry. Oh yes, resume with Kathy and Hannah's entrance. Jake.
Huh?
Give them their entrance cue.
What is it?
He'll probably get everything.
Who will?
Your cousin Simon.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, and he'll probably get everything.
I'm very pleased with your investigation. I'll be glad to recommend you to any of my other clients.
Just doing my job, Miss Van Zandt.
Good evening, everyone.
I know we haven't met yet, but I have a pretty good idea who all of you are. Mrs. Starkweather and her son Jordan, right?
That's right, Mrs.
Davis, but you can call me Mike.
From what Miss Van Zandt just said, I assume you must be some sort of investigator.
You got it, pal. The private kind.
I see.
Who is this nice person there?
She's a detective, Mother.
A detective? How exciting. Do you know Jessica Fletcher?
No, ma'am. She's way out of my league. I do know who you two ladies must be, though.
If you're a private investigator, I'd be surprised if you didn't.
That accent settles it. You're Paula Thompson.
You're 100% correct. I can't deny that I'm from the Deep South.
If you came from any deeper south, you'd live in Central America.
So that leaves you to be Kathy Collins. It's nice to finally meet you in person.
Me too, Mike. Mike and I have corresponded for some time by mail and fax on Mr. Starkweather's behalf.
Is this seat taken? No? I'll park it here.
And I expect you to remain unobtrusive.
Yeah, sure will. As soon as I find a dictionary and look it up.
Just over there by the fire. Keep quiet.
Oh, by the fire? Gladly. My backside's still kinda soggy.
Keep an eye on him.
I shall do my best.
If all is in readiness, Miss Van Zandt, I shall inform Mr. Starkweather.
Yes, thank you, Bensonhurst.
There's coffee if anybody else wants some.
I could use some, Minerva.
How do you take it?
In a cup.
Black, please.
Keep still. Miss Van Zandt, I understand Great Uncle Simon has asked us here to talk to us about his will.
That is correct. Frankly, I did not think it was a good idea. Mr. Starkweather's health is precarious at best, and he doesn't need the excitement. I advised him to communicate with you by mail, but he insisted on summoning you to Starkweather Mansion. I only hope he doesn't live to regret that decision.
Miss Withers is bringing Mr. Starkweather in to join us.
Can I move now?
Here you are, Mr. Starkweather.
Go.
I'll be right here if you need me.
To think I was once surrounded by presidents and kings. Can my world have shrunk to this? A handful of relatives and a meager staff of hired help. Simon, where's my grandson?
We presume he is on his way, Mr. Starkweather.
We can't wait for him. Not enough time anymore.
Good evening, Great Uncle Simon. You're looking well.
Are you blind, boy? Or just a habitual liar?
I was only making pleasantries, Uncle.
Save your breath. You've always been a smooth talker, Jordan, but that doesn't cut any ice with me. You're nothing but a greedy opportunist, boy. I have to know. I was one myself at your age.
Now I guess it runs in the family.
You have a point. Well, Fiona, you look the same.
I do. Why, thank you, Uncle Simon.
It wasn't necessarily meant as a compliment.
Great Uncle Simon, you're awful.
At my age, and with my money, I can afford to say exactly what I think. And I do. And how is my little Georgia Peach?
Little old me? I'm just peachy, Uncle.
I may barf. Would you care for some coffee, Mr. Starkweather?
He mustn't have any. The caffeine would keep him awake, and it could affect his blood pressure. Sometimes medications cause it to run a little high.
Apparently, I won't be having any, Minerva. You heard my keeper?
Yes, sir.
Everyone aspires to live to a ripe old age. And for what? To be kept alive by medicines and machines? To be prevented from enjoying so much of life's little pleasures, like a cup of coffee?
You mustn't excite yourself, Mr. Starkweather.
You see, I'm not even allowed to feel any strong emotions.
That's a bummer.
Ah, you put it very succinctly, Rufus. Old age is a bummer. I could have searched my vocabulary extensively and never come up with such an apt description. Bummer.
Glad you liked it.
According to my doctors, I won't have to remain a prisoner in this weak, old body much longer. There's only one thing I hate to leave behind. My money.
Well, you know what they say, Uncle. You can't take it with you.
Yes, that's what they say. So several years ago, I had Lois here draw up my will. I suppose you'd like to know how I provided for you, my heirs.
I, for one, admit I'm just a teensy bit curious.
A teensy bit, eh?
I was afraid of something like this would happen. Here, Mr. Starkweather, breathe deeply. And see what you've done.
Me? I didn't.
Should somebody call an ambulance?
We can't. The phones are dead.
It's alright. He lost his breath. He needs pure oxygen for a few moments.
Tell them.
Very well. This is the will Mr. Starkweather was referring to. As you know, he's been a phenomenally successful businessman for many years.
I'll say he's been on the front cover of Forbes magazines for at least a dozen times.
I never read it. He has the distinction of becoming one of the world's first billionaires.
20 years ago, I begged dear Ezra to ask his Uncle Simon to advise him on business investments, but he wasn't too proud.
Yeah, Dad had his pride. Lots of pride and very little money.
If I may continue, Mr. Starkweather's fortune is now in the neighborhood of $50 billion.
If I'd have known that, I'd ask for a raise.
I won't go into the details of the will, but essentially bequeaths $1 million to each of his household staff. Mr. Bensonhurst, his butler, Mrs. Trent, his housekeeper, Minerva Walker, his cook, Miss Withers, his nurse, Nancy Pullard, his maid, and Rufus Jones, his handyman.
Forget the raise.
Oh, Mr. Starkweather, I had no idea.
The will goes on to state that the rest of the money is to be divided equally among his surviving relatives. They are his grandson, Simon III, his niece Fiona Starkweather and her son Jordan, who will share 1/3, and his great niece, Paula Thompson.
Isn't that nice?
I always knew you did right by us, Uncle.
I know you got mad when Mama married a Southern boy, great Uncle Simon, but you two must have agreed on one thing. Blood is thicker than water.
I bet you Miss Withers could tell you if it is.
Now that I've informed you of the will's contents, I have another announcement to make. As of tomorrow, this will becomes invalid.
What does invalid mean?
It means no good.
Oh, I got a brother that's invalid.
Miss Van Zant means that we're not going to get the money, you fool.
Oh. Guess I won't be getting that big screen TV I was thinking about after all.
Sit. You too, Lois.
Why did you decide to disinherit us, Uncle?
Found a better use for my money. That's why. Oh, I didn't cut you out entirely. All of you in the old will get $50,000 each.
Okay, $50,000. Out of $50 billion.
Lois advised me it would be a good idea to leave you a little something. That way, you'd be less likely to be able to contest my new will.
New will?
Yes. That's why I asked Kathy to stay over at Starkweather Mansion this weekend, to type it up nice and legal for my signature. Mrs. Davis, as a disinterested party, can witness the signing. Lois will file it at the courthouse come Monday.
Miss Davis said that she's a detective. What'd you hire her to do?
Mr. Starkweather hired me to conduct an investigation on the quiet. For the past 6 months, I've flown to a dozen or more foreign countries, checking out some of the world's most brilliant scientists. Some well-known, others who prefer to keep their experiments hush-hush. I succeeded in finding one in Belgium, let's call him Dr. X, who agreed to help Mr. Starkweather do what he desires, which is to clone himself.
Oh my goodness.
That's insane.
What nonsense.
You must be kidding.
It's immoral.
I don't understand.
Good. Glad I'm not the only one.
Oh, that's me. Those blood and skin samples you had me prepare. The ones you examined by specialists.
They were sent to specialists, Withers. Specialists in DNA.
I thought you were trying to find a cure.
I was. Not a cure for my various ailments, but a cure for dying. And I did find it.
Clone it?
Precisely. In modern science, I shall live forever.
It's not right.
That's neither here nor there. Let the moralists and politicians debate that question for decades to come. In the meantime, Dr. X, as Davis named him, will be creating a brand new me. Sit down, Withers. A lot of you seem to be displeased. Not, I suspect, because of the moral question, but because of your change in fortune. Well, too bad. Cloning is very expensive, especially since the process I require must be done in absolute secrecy. But I will still have a sizable fortune left for the new me to inherit. No doubt, I will be the first person on Earth to become my own heir. Withers, my blood pressure.
Yes, Mr. Starkweather. If you'll excuse us, I need to take Mr. Starkweather's blood pressure.
Why don't you take it right here?
Mr. Starkweather's arms are too frail for me to get a reading from them. This is an outsized cuff made to go around a patient's thigh. He can stand the blood pressure from the cuff better. There. Mr. Starkweather has had good enough excitement for one evening. I shall put him to bed.
I guess this means our meeting is concluded, unless anyone has any other questions.
I do. What the heck was that all about?
It's simple, Rufus. Uncle Simon was going to leave us all of his fortune, but he changed his mind. Instead, he decided he was going to clone himself.
What does clone mean? It means to take some cells from a person's body and create a duplicate of the original.
Oh, well, they can do that? Well, that's great. When the old Mr. Starkweather passes away, maybe I can get a job working for the new one.
The new Mr. Starkweather will have to be born again and grow up. It goes against the laws of nature.
How? It has all been arranged. Once Dr. X has created a new life, it will be implanted in a host mother who will carry the child to term.
Host mother? Who?
Me? Why not? I'm young and healthy. I'll make a good mother for little Simon.
How could you ever consider being part of this travesty?
I'll be well compensated. Besides, have you ever known anyone else to give birth to a baby billionaire?
Uncle Simon is giving his money to a baby.
In a manner of speaking, yes. The new will places Mr. Starkweather's fortune into a trust fund, which I'll administer. I'll release the money to pay Dr. X and his staff to perform the cloning procedure. After that, ample funds will be released to provide for Kathy's needs and the child's upbringing. Once he's grown and properly trained to deal with high finance, the fortune will be turned over to him.
Kid will look, think, and act like Simon Starkweather. He could conceivably parlay those billions into trillions by the time he's an old man.
But for what purpose? To leave it to another clone, and another, and another? When will it end? When there's a Simon Starkweather with enough money and power to rule the world?
We didn't discuss it, but you might well be right.
I can't believe you condone such madness.
Sorry. Oh, I can see why she would. Miss Van Zant and the Collins girl will live like billionaires themselves off Mr. Starkweather's money. Money that should have gone to us and his family. I guess you'll get rich too, since you're a part of this scheme.
Not me. I did the job I was paid to do. My part's over. I'll take my very generous check and go home. Frankly, I don't care if the boss's science fiction experiment works or not.
You should be ashamed. You should all be ashamed.
I believe you made your feelings quite clear, ladies. If you and the other servants will join me, I wish to speak to all of you in the kitchen. We'll clear after you've finished. I trust you'll ring if you require anything else.
It might be kind of nice. Hearing the pitter-patter of little feet around the house.
Oh, shut up, Rufus.
Kathy and I will retire to my room. You might as well begin typing up the new will tonight. I'll direct you how to put everything into proper legal terms.
Sure. Lois, the sooner it's finished and signed, the better.
Hey, wait a minute. How come nobody asked me if I wanted to carry the baby? I could do it as well as she can.
You're Mr. Starkweather's blood kin, Paula. It wouldn't be proper.
I guess it would be kind of tacky.
Proper? You're about to conduct an experiment that makes Frankenstein look like an amateur, and you're worried about being proper?
Cool it, kid, before you burst a blood vessel. Just
Mr. Starkweather has made up his mind, and I get the feeling whatever the old man wants, he gets.
Succinctly put, Mrs. Davis. Kathy?
I'll go upstairs and pack. After I witness the signing of the new will tomorrow, I won't have any reason to hang around.
We were robbed.
We were?
Yes, Mother. Great Uncle Simon dangled a fortune right in front of our noses and snatched it away.
That was mean.
Mean? The man's a monster. Didn't you see the evil glint in his eyes? He enjoyed pulling the rug right from under our feet.
At least he's giving us 50,000.
To him, that's no more than tossing a dime to a beggar. And he's just doing it to keep us from breaking his new will. You heard him.
Yeah.
I wish he were dead. I wish the old goat would drop dead tonight.
It would serve him right.
So, like, if Uncle Simon did die tonight, you know, we don't get our money, wouldn't we, my dear?
Back to Act 1, Scene 2.
A penny for your thoughts. That's all I can afford to pay now. Mr. Starkweather. It's Jordan, remember? At least when Minerva the Dragon Lady isn't around.
I thought everyone had gone to bed.
I was going to turn in, but I got an urge for a midnight snack.
Oh, I'll fix you something.
Never mind. What are you doing up?
Mrs. Trent sent me in here to make sure the fire screen is properly closed, so no sparks pop out onto the rug.
And burn Starkweather Mansion to the ground? Maybe that wouldn't be such a bad idea.
You shouldn't talk like that. You know Mr. Starkweather is an invalid. How could
You read my mind.
Jordan!
Got you to call me by my first name.
You mustn't even suggest such a thing. It's wicked.
Why should that surprise you? Everyone knows I'm the black sheep in the family. If it happened tonight, you'd have $1 million, and I'd have billions. Just think of all the good times we could have together.
Don't.
It's a tempting thought, admit it.
It's not. It's a horrible idea.
Which part? Getting the money or you and me together?
Part about the money.
What about us?
Nancy, I thought you were going to help me with the dishes.
Just checking the French drawers with her to make sure they're locked.
I see. And what are you doing in here?
I came down for a snack when I saw Nancy. I stopped for a little chat.
That appetite of yours is going to get you in trouble one of these days.
Minerva, what are you doing with that knife?
Mincing onions?
At midnight.
I can't stand to have anyone see me cry. I thought I heard someone in here and came in to check. If you're hungry, come with me. I'll find you something.
Yes, Minerva. Anything you say, Minerva.
Finish checking and then come give me a hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Come on.
Rufus. I thought I heard someone come in.
It was just me.
So I see. Good grief, man. What are you doing with that axe?
Well, it's like this. I remember chopping wood for the fire this afternoon, before it started raining. But I didn't put the axe back in the shed. I forgot. I've been dismembering an awful lot lately. Anyways, when it came to me where I put the axe, I went outside and brought it in so I could dry it off, so it don't rust.
That's fine, but why bring it into the living room? Besides, how many times do I have to tell you to use the back door?
As many times as you want, I ain't counting.
I swear, Rufus, you'll be the death of me yet. Go out to the kitchen and have Mrs. Trent give you a towel.
I ain't wet, it quit raining.
I know that! To dry the axe.
Oh,
The
right.
back door. If that man had a brain, he'd be dangerous.
I heard that!
A penny for your thoughts.
Jordan, I just came down for a breath of fresh air. What are you doing up this late?
Munchies, one cookie?
No thanks.
So did you and Miss Van Zant finish a new will?
Yes, it's already except for Mr. Starkweather's signature. I see you've calmed down. I wouldn't blame you if you hated me.
Why should I hate you? I'd make the same deal if I were in your shoes.
I'm sure you would, Jordan.
Minerva was right. Being the mother of little Simon will be the next best thing to owning the billions to yourself. But aren't you forgetting something though?
What?
The little tyke will need a dad too. Someone to guide him and mold him into the perfect replica of Great Uncle Simon. A heartless, money-making machine.
You think so?
I know so. And who would be a better father figure than I? You're a very attractive woman, Kathy. We could make some business with pleasure.
Take your crummy hands off me.
What?
You're getting cookie crumbs on my blouse. And by the way, forget it. If I decide little Simon needs a father after he's born, I'll pick a suitable husband then. I don't know who he'll be, but it won't be a sleazy, money-hungry slime ball like you, Jordan.
I could kill you, you witch.
I wouldn't try it if I were you. Not with the detective in the house.
Aren't you finished in here yet?
I need to make everything all right.
Well, hurry up, girl. Minerva wants to see you in the kitchen.
Yes, ma'am.
Don't dawdle. Someone left the French doors open. I'll go close them. Miss Thompson?
Mrs. Trent, you gave me a fright.
I suppose I should be grateful you didn't shoot me. What on earth are you doing, roaming the house in the middle of the night with a gun in your hand?
Oh, don't worry. I know how to handle a gun. I couldn't sleep, so I thought I'd clean it. I was going to look in the kitchen for some oil.
I doubt you'll find what you need in there unless you want to rub it with Crisco. Do you often carry that thing around with you?
I take it everywhere I go. Daddy taught me to be a crack shot when I was 10. A girl can't be too careful.
Well, I don't think you have anything to worry about. Starkweather Mansion is miles from the nearest town. No one ever comes out this way.
You never had a burglary or a problem?
No?
You know, since Great Uncle Simon is so sick and all, it's a wonder somebody hasn't tried to steal something. With his bedroom being on the ground floor, anyone could just break into those French doors, walk into his room, and do who knows what.
Like, shoot him?
Well, it could happen, as terrible as that thought is. In his condition, how could he defend himself?
He could sick with Nurse Wizards on him, I suppose. That should frighten away any intruders.
Oh, you're just awful. But you know what? I wouldn't want to tangle with that woman. Where does she sleep?
In the room behind Mr. Starkweather's, so she can hear him if he rings his bell for her in the night.
Let's see. If I remember correctly, when Mama brought me here once when I was a little girl, that room used to be a library. And the one beyond it, a parlor. Am I right?
That is correct. When Mr. Starkweather became too ill to go up and down the stairs, the library was converted into a bedroom for him, and Wizards took the parlor.
So they're the only ones who sleep downstairs?
Yes, the servants' quarters are in the attic, under the eaves. We have our own staircase from the kitchen. Why do you ask?
Oh, just curious.
Excuse me, I thought that little section of dialogue was kind of awkward and suggested to Mr. St. John that he cut it, but he felt you needed to get an idea of the layout of the house. He said, "What do you want me to do? Put a blueprint of Starkweather Mansion in the program?" Which I thought was kind of rude. He insisted I leave the dialogue in, so I did, but it's a bad piece of writing, and I want you to know I tried to correct it. Sorry for the interruption. Continue.
I want you to know that if you do that again, you're going to have to bring that script up on this stage and play Miss Trent yourself.
Oh, sorry.
That was great. I wish I had your nerve. Where were we?
So, you're curious about the layout of the house, are you?
Yeah, I was just curious.
You know what they say, curiosity kills the cat.
Yes, well, if you'll excuse me.
Wouldn't it be ironic if someone did break in tonight, of all nights, and...
Mrs. Stockwell.
Bensonhurst, you nearly frightened me to death.
My apologies. Might I ask what kind of pills you just strewn about the room?
Digitals from my heart. Same thing. I have a heart condition. Maybe I should take 2.
Ah, digitalis. Does that speed up one's heart rate?
Oh, yes. My heart rate is a little pumping away.
Perhaps a single dose would be sufficient. I assume an overdose could be
fatal.
Extremely fatal. Or am I being redundant? I suppose fatal is fatal, just like dead is dead. Don't you agree?
Completely. One cannot be deader than someone else. Dead longer, perhaps, that is the only comparison for that word that comes to mind. Might I inquire why you brought the medication to the living room?
Why, that's... Stop laughing. Why, that is a very good question. Why did I bring them down here? Oh dear, I remember I was going to show them to Mrs. Withers, and then see if she might be able to give me some free samples of those digitals with her medications connections, you know? Digitals.
But it looks as if your bottle is full already.
Yes, it was, but it never hurts to plan ahead. I better pick them up.
Allow me to assist you.
That's in hers. Can I ask you something?
Be my guest.
Why are you carrying a wrench?
A wrench? Well, you see, I happen to remember Miss Withers mentioned that the valve on the gas heater in Mr. Starkweather's bedroom was a little loose. I thought it would give an extra turn or two.
How mechanical of you. We wouldn't want any of that gas to escape this room, would we?
Naturally not. But first things first, shall we?
I feel like a pigeon pecking popcorn.
Miss one there.
Where?
Beside your left. Sorry. Left kneecap.
Got it. They rode just after her.
Grab objects this to do that, madam.
Nurse Withers. Oh, Mrs. Starkweather. What are you doing on the floor with Bensonhurst? Picking up my pills. I dropped my digitals. What are you putting them here? Or both of them? I assume Miss Starkweather has required, and that's you. That's you.
I assume Mr. Starkweather has required an injection. Is there a problem?
Nothing I can't handle. His lungs seem to be somewhat congested. So I took him from his bed and sat him back in his wheelchair. He can breathe easier in an upright position. Then I gave him an injection of steroids to help him with his bronchial passages. My, where would Uncle Simon be without you? Dead. Without my help, his heart would have stopped breathing long ago. Same thing.
I've heard of those words.
Keep going, Vincent.
Speaking of which, wasn't there something you wanted to ask Miss Withers, madam?
What's that?
The digitalis?
Oh, yes, Miss Withers. I was wondering if you happen to have any manufacturer's samples of digitalis you don't need. I have a heart condition and like to keep a supply handy. I can see why you would. Yours tend to run out, don't they? I'm sorry, Mrs. Starkweather, but I'm fresh out of spare drugs. Your uncle requires every pill. He's got to keep him going. Oh my, then we had better gather up all of mine. Will you help us, my dear? I suppose.
Is this a private game, or can anybody play?
Miss Davis, we're picking up spilled pills.
Is that it? I thought you were having a tiny little marble tournament. Okay.
Let me give you these, Mr. Starkweather. I really must return to my duties.
And here am I.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you'll excuse me.
Miss Withers, how's the boss?
Bossy. He sent me the pitcher of fresh drinking water. If I'm not back in a minute, he'll start ringing his bell for me.
Ring.
See what I mean? I'll be right there, Mr. Starkweather.
I gather he rings for you a lot.
Incessantly. When he stops ringing that bell, I'll know he's kicked out the bucket. Excuse me. Kicks the bucket. Dead. Excuse me.
Spoken like a true member of the medical profession. What's with the wrench, Bensonhurst? Got some kind of problem I can give you a hand with?
Thank you, sir, but no. It will wait. I, too, shall excuse myself.
Well,
You're up kind of late, Mrs. Starkweather.
I couldn't help sleep. What about you, Miss Davis?
Oh, I'm a real night owl. Besides, I was hoping young Simon Starkweather would show up. I haven't met him yet.
Simon's a sweet boy. I do hope he's all right. I mean, the storm and all.
Oh, he might have pulled off the road to let it pass. starting to cloud over again. We could be in for another deluge.
Oh no. Oh dear, I hope not. I believe I'll go back to my room and lie down.
Good night again, Mrs. Starkweather.
Good night. Coming, Mr. Starkweather. Oh, yeah, just keep an eye on things. Oh, that's you. Sorry, I'm so bad.
It's okay. Yeah, just keeping an eye on things.
I see. Well, my patient.
You're up too, Mrs. Davis.
Yep, and I'm not the only one. There seems to be more traffic passing through Starkweather Mansion at midnight than goes down the interstate at rush hour.
I know what you mean. I've been hearing footsteps go past my bedroom door all evening. No, I'm not surprised. We could have guessed that Mr. Starkweather's announcement could have given his heirs a sleepless night or two.
Between us, Miss Manzat, this cloning business, how do you feel about it?
I'm a lawyer, Mrs. Davis. I'm paid to think, not feel. Can Mr. Starkweather be cloned? Definitely. There's no question that the technology exists. Should he be cloned? Well, I wouldn't want to be the first to challenge nature by creating another Lois Van Zandt.
Me too. I'm a simple person. I've got enough to deal with in one lifetime. The sooner we get this signing over with, and I can get back to the real world, the better.
The new will is finished. Mr. Starkweather can sign it first thing in the morning.
The old boy's still awake. That nurse was in here a minute ago. I heard him ringing his bell for her.
In that case, there's no reason why you can't sign it now.
And that's what I'm thinking. The people in this house are as tense as a bunch of long-tailed cats in a room full of rocking chairs. I know I'll feel better once the boss's plan is a done deal.
I'll go up to my room and get the will. Why don't you let Mr. Starkweather know? What the world?
The circuit breaker must have tripped.
But the storm passed hours ago.
I know. I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I'll find Bensonhurst and have him show me where the main breaker is.
Good. I'll let Mr. Starkweather know we're taking care of it.
Tools of the trade.
It's all right, Mr. Starkweather. Mr. Starkweather?
Hello? Is anyone in here? Miss Trent? Benhurst? Anybody?
Kathy, I think there's something wrong with Mr. Starkweather. I don't know where that nurse is.
Oh no. He hasn't signed the will yet, has he?
No, perhaps he just fainted. We need light. Mrs. Davis is trying to... Mr. Starkweather!
What happened? Someone struck me.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Mr. Starkweather. Help him!
I heard a scream.
He's dead. Someone put the blood pressure cuff around his neck and pumped the pressure up to maximum 300 millimeters of mercury. Mr. Starkweather has been strangled to death.
Oh no.
Golly, poor Mr. Starkweather. I could have done such a thing.
Give me a break. I'd say you, nearly everyone else in this room, are right up there on the top 10 list.
Me? No, I could have done it.
Hold it down. Let me check the body.
Those drops on his robe. Is it blood?
I'm not sure.
What else could it be?
I'll handle it. I'm the detective, remember? What can you tell us, Miss Withers?
After I took Mr. Starkweather the pitcher of water and made sure he was breathing all right, I went to my room and laid across my bed. A few minutes later, the lights went out.
I noticed that too.
Hush. Mr. Starkweather started ringing his bell. I was lighting a candle when someone struck me with a heavy object. I must have blacked out. When I came to, the lights were on.
Yeah, we can take it from there.
You seem to be in charge, Miss Davis. What do we do now?
We keep trying the phones until we get through to the cops. If the lines aren't up in the morning, someone will have to drive into town and report there's been a murder at Starkweather Mansion.
Murder?
Maybe the old man did himself in.
Or maybe not.
Young Mr. Simon, you made it! And boy, do we have a surprise for you!
Wasn't that the most diabolical murder you ever saw? Don't you just love it? The way Mr. St. John's mind works? It's no wonder he went bonkers. Now, remember, first thing during intermission, we need you to get your ballot from your program and mark the suspect you think murdered Simon Starkweather. The ushers will circulate in the lobby and take them up in here as well, in case any of you don't need to go, or a drink of water or anything. Well, see you in 15 minutes.
End of act one.
Break time.
Okay, so we're gonna take a
So,
Dad's coming.